going on, everybody? DJ Chance here. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial and review of this, the Hercules Impulse 200 MK3, now with stems. Let's get into it. So what we have here for 2026 is this new Hercules beginner controller. It's great for beginner. For the price point of $120 US, you get a lot of features that you're going to run into as your journey for DJing builds. You'll start off with something like this, and then you'll feel you need more features. You could step up to another more expensive model. All right, we're going to start off with the platter section. Now, the platter itself is 3 inches in diameter. It's about an inch off of the surface of the controller, so it's a decent height. My only issue with it is that it's shorter in height than the knobs that are right next to both sides. So that could be a bit of an issue. You might move your hands across from one side to the other, and you may move the filter knob, as you see here. If my finger goes across, I will move that filter knob, even though it has a center detent. Now, the detent for the bass and mid seems to be a lot more firm, I guess would be the word, is what I'm looking for. It seems like it locks more into place on these 3 knobs versus the filter. The filter feels a little more loose, but that's just something to be aware of. The surface of the platter is touch capacitive, of course. That's how you're able to scratch or use the tops or the edge for nudging if you're not a scratch DJ. Now, if you look at the top here, there's a little graphic that says search with a minus and a plus sign. And that, of course, you can do with nudging. But if you want to do like a turbo boost and get through the song quicker, or to part of the song you want to get to faster, you would hold down the shift button right here. You hear that craziness? Yeah, so you can do that. That's what the search means there when you hold down the shift button. Now, right next to the shift button, you have the loop button. Now, the loop comes defaulted from the factory as a 4-beat loop. However, you are able to have that or double that all the way up to 32 beats and down to 1/16 of a beat if need be. So let's set a loop. Let's play the track.
Yeah, sounds smooth. Here we gonna do it like this. Here we gonna do it like this. Here we gonna do it like this. Yeah, sounds here. Sounds here.
So you see we got ourselves a little 4-beat loop right there. Now, the hidden feature of the way to have this or double this loop is right here. This is where on the MK2 you used to have the half button and the 2 times button. Now here it doesn't say it because they've replaced it. These are dedicated stem buttons now. You've got your instrumental button there, you've got your vocal button there, and we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. But if you want to half this, you would hold down the shift and press what used to be the half button on the old controller. So let's do that. Let's hold down shift and we'll half this to a 2-beat loop. 1 beat, half beat, quarter beat, 8th beat, 16th beat, and I can't listen to that. Jesus, that was awful in my eardrums. If you want to leave that loop, just turn off the loop button. The thing to be aware of, though, when you want to do another loop later on in the track, or you want to return to the loop you had, it's going to default to whatever your last setting was. So for instance, I had it at 1/16 of a beat. 1/16 of a beat is exactly how it's going to start when you try a new loop. Let's do that right now. Let's hit the loop button again. So we'll shift. So there we've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4. You got a nice 4-beat loop. You want to double that? Let's hold down the shift. We got an 8-beat. Now 16 beats. Now we're going to do 32 beats, and that's as far as you can take a loop. Still going. You see, 32 beat loop right there. So that's a nice little hidden feature here. I don't know why they didn't mark it underneath like they did with the hot cue and effects. It shows that there's other things you can do with these buttons. Why they decided to save 3 cents per controller to write, half or 2x right here, I have no idea. Now, this wasn't written anywhere. This was just by trial and error. I had a feeling when I got it in my hands, I was like, you know what? It's weird that there's nothing else for the loop section. The loop section usually has more than just one loop button. And then a 4-beat loop just seemed odd to me, so I gave it a shot. And it actually worked. Now the loop button can also be your vinyl button. Now that's in vinyl mode by default when you get it out of the box. If you want to change it and turn off vinyl mode, that way you don't scratch. Maybe you're a DJ that doesn't scratch, you just do mixing. You prefer to nudge your records forward and backwards to lock in that perfect mix, you would hold down the shift button. Let's half this. All right. So we're in vinyl mode. All right. Now we're going to hold down the shift, press that loop button, and now we'll be in just the nudging mode. Kick it off with a bottle of Cisco. 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 All right, we're going to turn the loop off. We're going to hold down shift, press the loop button again, and we'll now be in vinyl mode. So of course we have the shift button right here. It lets you access further features that may be on a specific button, like you have with the hot cue, the effects, or the unlabeled stems buttons that can also be used to half and to time your loops. But if you want to go into hot cue mode, if you hold down shift, will also go into a loop mode. So you see how it's lit up in a solid white. It's in hot cue mode. You see there's 4 lit up pads. That means the 4 performance pads have hot cues in them. So we'll do this. So those are the hot cues I have set for this particular track. Now the buttons themselves, all of them on this controller, they're a very hard plastic. They're not soft and velvety as something you would find in a more higher-end controller, or even this. Even my Rodecaster Pro over here all the way to the left, these buttons are nice and soft and squishy. These are not. It's like touching a Ludin. But if you want to get to the loop feature underneath the hot cue, you would hold down shift, you'd press loop, and this is different from the loop button you have here. These are pre-programmed loops. So the 1 button is a 1-beat loop. The 2 button is, guess what? A 2-beat loop. What do you think the 3 button does, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, a 4-beat loop. The 3 does a 4, and the 4 does an 8-beat. So let's do that now. Let's play the track.
Okay, party people in the house.
1-beat loop.
Yeah. Sounds smooth. Sounds smooth.
4-beat loop.
Sounds smooth.
8-beat loop.
We're gonna do it like this. Sounds smooth.
And there it is.
We're gonna do it like
And that's all you
this.
have access to in this particular section. So if you're looking for a 4-beat, 8-beat loop, you've got it right here under that. You still need the shift button. The shift button knows all. The shift button is omnipotent. It has access to secrets of the universe in the controller that you're unaware of. Right next to that, we have the effects button. Now, it has 4 built-in effects. Let's take a listen to them. You have an echo, you've got a reverb, and I'm trying to remember what the other one was, a flanger, and the 4th one. So let's just let's play the track again.
Sounds smooth. We're gonna do it like this.
There's button number 1, and as soon as you let go of the button, the effect goes away. Now let's do the second one. This should be the flanger.
Sounds smooth. Then we gonna do it like this.
Or if you're real old school and you owned the Pioneer EFX 500 or 1000, that would be the jet feature. That's what they used to call that on those particular effects units. It was the jet. Also with the Pioneer CDJ 100, it had the built-in jet button. Now number 3 effects, reverb.
Sounds smooth. Then we gonna do it like this.
It's like when you're walking into sound check at a concert hall. That's what it reminds me of. You're sitting back in the green room waiting to go on stage. This is like what you would hear.
Sounds smooth.
Now the 4th button, the 4th effects. That's it. That's what you get.
Then we gonna do it like this.
I don't even know what you call that. The record skip without a record.
Sounds smooth.
Kind of like Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon, the art of fighting without fighting. Well, that's the art of record skipping without a record.
Sounds smooth.
Now, if you want to access what's underneath the effects button, that'll be the sampler. And we would access it the same way as the loop function under Hotkey. We'd hold down the shift, press effects, and you'll see I have 2 sample pads lit up. And you see that the FX button is flashing. I forgot to mention that with the hotkey. It'll be flashing to let you know that you're in the other mode that that button does. So if I hold down shift and hotkey, you see it's flashing, you're in loop mode. So we'll go back to effects, press the shift and effects as you saw me just do, and now we're in sampler mode. And that's it. And right underneath the shift button, you have the always controversial sync button. Now the sync button, using this doesn't mean anything except to other DJs that are purists. Every now and then you're going to run into a situation where you're going to need to use that sync, especially on a controller of this size, with such a short throw for the tempo slider. And the tempo slider we'll get into in a minute. It doesn't go all that far on this particular controller. So let's say you're at a wedding. The bride comes running up frantic. She wants you to play a song right now. Let's say you're playing a track that's at 80 beats per minute. The song she wants you to play is at 100 beats per minute. Well, in order to get there, you wouldn't be able to do that with this particular controller because it only goes plus or minus in tempo 8%. When you go upwards, you go down in your tempo. When you go forward, you go up in your tempo. I know that seems counterintuitive, but this is all pitch controls for you beginner DJs. They all do this. What they don't all do is give you a range of pitch that you can access. On this particular controller, it only being 8%, it would be impossible for you to do that transition unless you used sync. You could always just stop the record and say, oh, this is a special song the bride requested, and then start the new track. Sure, you can do that, but it's not a smooth transition. You're cutting the music off, you're killing the energy. With a sync button, you can get there faster. And guess what? Here's the craziest thing you're probably ever going to hear. Nobody cares except another DJ or maybe a producer. They'll care. The bride doesn't give a crap how you get there as long as you get there. That's what they hired you for. They hired you to be there to provide the soundtrack for the biggest days of their lives, and you have to deliver. So the sync button will allow you to do that. If you can do it with the pitch, sure. But more than likely, you're not going to be able to do that. Let me explain that a little more. Let's say you have that 100 beat per minute song, and you're going from an 80 beat. If you put this pitch slider all the way back, yes, I call it a pitch slider. I know it says tempo there, but I'm old school. On turntables, it said pitch ADJ, which was pitch adjustment. So let's say we're at 100 beats per minute. This one's at 80. If I put the pitch all the way up from 80, we're going to be at about 87, 86, maybe 87 beats per minute. If I was at 100 on this side and put this back 8%, I'm still only at 92 beats per minute. You see the problem? You're still 6 to 5 beats per minute off. So the sync is your savior in a moment like that. It's a useful tool. It's just a tool that you can use like everything else on this controller. It's been on DJ equipment now for about 30 years, since the original Pioneer CDJ 500 and 700. All right, and underneath that sync button, we have the Q button. The Q button is basically another hot cue that you're going to have, just a point in the record. Usually it's the start of the song, so it's marked. Now, the good thing with the cue is that you can change it to wherever you want. So we're going to go back to our hot cues. We're going to go back to that bass drum right here. I'm going to double tap the Q button. See, and now we're there at the beginning of the song. So you've basically got yourself a fifth cue point for this particular track. As you see, I have these 4 filled. Just remember that the Q button will erase once you change the track. Once you transition to this song and then you put a new record here. Let's say you were listening to this song, you wanted to play it, and this song is playing to the crowd, right? This side you're listening to in your headphones, and you set the cue point and you're trying to mix it in, and then it hits you. You know what else will go with this song that's playing to the crowd? I'll play this instead. Once you remove the song from this deck, once it's ejected, and you try the new song in your ear and you say, no, let me go back, that cue point is now erased. It'll be at the beginning of this song, which is this.
Okay, party people in the house.
But you can always change where your cue point is. So let's say we go back to the bass drum.
Yeah.
Let's say I want the cue to be that snare now. Double tap. You see how that works? Underneath that, I mean, everyone, even non-DJs, all know what this is. You've got your play and your pause. I mean, that's basically what they are. There's no need to go any further than that. It flashes letting you know that you're not playing anything, and it'll be solid when you are playing a track. Now, I was talking about the pitch slider being only 8%. There's no way in the software or on the controller itself to change it to plus or minus 16% or plus or minus 50% like you'll get in more expensive controllers. Now, this one, being at $120 US, you have to figure you're going to lose out some features. You really want all of the pro features, you've got to go to higher level pro gear. But to start off with, this can help you do all the fundamentals that you're going to need, and it adds some things that you are going to use in the future. You'll probably be using stems on a higher end controller. Once you graduate from this one, you'll probably be using effects. You'll probably be looping at some point. They've given you this short throw tempo slider. I still call it a pitch control, even though it doesn't change the pitch anymore, because you've got what's called master tempo is on all the time, or you're always locked in key if you've got pitch in time on Serato DJ Pro. I said Serato. In Serato DJ Pro, I've gotten a lot of crap from you guys because I say Serato a lot on my other videos. So I'm trying to be more, correct with how everyone else says it. The good thing with this pitch slider is that it does not have a center detent, as I mentioned, like the knobs do. They've got that little locking point right there at absolute 0. That doesn't happen on the pitch control, and that's fantastic. I've never liked a detented pitch slider, never. Because when you come off of that 0 that it's locked into, let's say you move it on a controller without the detent. You go backwards just a little bit. You come just off of the light. You see there's a little green light? That means you're at the 0 on your pitch or tempo slider. If I were to move it back just a little bit, let's say I moved it just a hair, see the light is off. On my controller now it says I went back 0.1%. But if this had a center detent and I moved this back or forward the same amount of space, it might jump to 0.5, 0.7, whatever the controller decides to do in that particular piece. So I love that it doesn't have that. I love that it just has a light to let you know you're at 0. This is the tempo the song should be at. Now, I know you see this little lit up arrow right next to that. Now, what this is a feature on this controller called the beat match guide. You can turn that off, and you'll see all the lights lit up red and then went away. This is to help you catch the beat. that's pointing to where you need to move that tempo slider. So this one, if I want it to be the same tempo as the track on number 1, you see the arrow is pointing upward. I need to move the pitch control. Oh, I went too far. Now it's telling me forward. So right when the lights turn off, you're locked into the beat per minute of the other track. And let me show you what that does. I'm going to play both tracks at their 0 beats, and you're going to hear the train wreck that's about to happen. Oh my God. Oh, I can't do it no more. All right, stop it. Collaborate and listen. So what I would do is, let's say I'm playing this track. It's at 0. We're going to keep it there. This one's telling me I need to go back a little bit. So I'm going to go back till that red light turns off. The red light is off. See, now they're in sync without the sync button. Nice, right? Nice how that works out. Now underneath the platter, you see that there's also arrows there. They basically do the same function as the arrows that are on the pitch slider. However, those work in the Juice DJ software. They're not doing it in Serato. I'll show you that now. Let's just play the songs. Let's get it off beat. You see how those lights haven't lit up? Even if I put it where the pitch is giving me the red arrow, there's no arrows over here. So what would happen is, let's say that this track's a little slower than that song. This arrow would light up telling you to move this jog wheel this way. This one would light up if you needed to bring it back if it was a little too quick. And again, that only works with the Juice DJ software, not Serato DJ Pro. Serato DJ Pro uses these arrows instead. All right, last but not least, we're going to get into what makes this controller stand out from the Mark II, and that is the stems section. Now the stems, if you don't know, it gives you the ability to remove instruments and get yourself a vocal if you want an acapella, or to do the reverse, make yourself an instrumental and get rid of the vocals. Now in this particular controller, you only have 2 of the 4 buttons that you usually get on more expensive, more advanced controllers. You get the instrumental button on the bigger ones, you get the melody button, and you get the bass button, and you get the acapella button. So what you're missing here is the melody button and the bass button. So it's not as crisp and clear as you would have it on a more advanced controller, but it gives you the fundamentals to start messing around with acapellas and putting different beats. This way you can make your own blends, your own mixes of certain songs. Maybe you don't like the beat that goes with a certain one. Maybe you feel that you have a much better beat. Maybe you want to switch the genre of the acapella altogether. You want to put, a heavy metal emo song with a trap beat or a house beat. You're giving yourself the ability to do that with these 2 buttons. Now let's take a listen to what that sounds like. Let's play the track.
Sounds smooth. Sounds smooth.
Let's remove the loop.
Sounds smooth.
Acapella. We'll hit the acapella button now.
A short documentary telling what's probably that shit last throughout the century. The drop is smooth, so please don't speak. I'm on the mic, Jay is on the technique while enhancing, I'm dancing. All the girls are glancing, couples in the corner, grinding, romancing. Chill, cause that is the atmosphere. Rhyme is on time and the beat is real quick to flip.
Now we make an instrumental. Hit the instrumental button. Instrumental button has the music note. Acapella button has the microphone. And that's basically it. That's what you can do with this controller that you couldn't do with the last series. So having that new ability with this controller at the same kind of price point at $120, I think it's a fantastic feature for the beginning DJ. It gives you access to an ability you didn't have before, especially at this price range. So I think this is an all-around good piece to start off with. Now we'll move on to the mixer section. Now, as you'll notice, there's a big giant knob up here. You'll see that it's flashing red and blue. Now, what it's doing is that it's counting the BPM of the song that's playing. So the red would be the 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that? You see how that works? So you see that the track isn't playing anymore. So now that light is turned off. That's your only visual indicator that music is actually playing. you'll notice in the mixer section there are no VU or LED meters to let you know how loud your volume is. So that's your only light right there. You have no way to know if this track is louder than this track before you play it. You'll find that in more expensive controllers that you'll have a pre-fader light and you'll have a post-fader light, the further more expensive that you go on your controller journey. So that was the browser knob, and then the load knob was right there. You have one above each set of these 4 knobs. These are the 3-band EQ, and then you have your filter knob right here. So right at the top, you have your load. You don't need to touch the trackpad of your MacBook or your computer. You can just do it right here from the controller. Underneath that, you'll see another button that says Assist and Prep. Now, the Assist feature works in the Juice DJ software, and it's a pretty useful feature, I have to say. What happens when you press that Assist button? Let's say we'll press that and we're in Juiced software. The Assist will pull up other songs that go along with the song you're currently playing. Let's say you have no idea what to play next. You would press that Assist and it would show you, it would pop up a whole list of songs on the screen, and it would let you know that all this is the same BPM, this is the same key, the same energy level. So that's a really useful feature in the Juice software. Now on Serato, what it does is take whatever your song is and puts it in your Prepare section. So I'm going to open my Prepare section on my laptop. I'm going to scroll through my songs. Now I'll show you the scroll feature going through the different sections. You see I have 1, 2, 3 different sections. This is the Prepare section. You'll see over there in this corner, it says Prepare. So this is where you would put the songs that you're about to play or that you're going to play at some point, or you would throw your request songs in there. Now, I'm in the Beyonce thing, so I'm in the actual song list as I showed you earlier. If I press in the encoder, now I'm back to crates. So I can move into different crates. Let's say I don't want to be there. I want to go to the Prepare section. So I'll press this again. We're in the crate. Now I'm in the Prepare section. So each time that you press the button, it will go to whatever section, however many of them you have open, which generally will be these 3. So that's just something to be aware of, that it's a useful feature. You can go from section to section, no problem. Now I'm going to show you what the Assist does. Let's go into this again. Let's say we're going to do this track. All right, I'm going to press the Prepare button, and there it is. It's now in my Prepare section. Underneath that, you have your master volume, self-explanatory. That's the master of the music that's going to be going out to your speakers. Underneath that, you have your headphone volume. And underneath that, you have your headphone section. If you press the master button, you're listening to what's going out into your audience or out into your speakers if you don't yet have an audience and you're just in your dorm or your bedroom. If you want to listen to each individual song separately, you can listen to this track on this deck. You press in that button. Press in the left headphone button, you're listening to the left side. Very simple. If you want to do them both at the same time, you can. You can do the master as well. Now we'll go back to the top here, and we have the 3-band EQ. Let's play a track so you can hear what they do. All right, we're going to take out some bass. Take out the mid. Take out the highs, and it's full kill. But each on their own is not a full kill. Because if I turn the bass off, you can still hear a bass drum. You can still hear some of the mids if you turn the mid down. And this just sounds like you blew a horn. Now the weird part about the high button is that it pulls double duty. If you hold down the shift knob, that's how you can access the gain feature. It says it right underneath the knob there. It says high and gain. Now that's the gain to give you a little extra volume if you're a new starting DJ and don't know what gain is. So let's say I'm going to play this song. Let's say it's not loud enough. I need a little bit more gain. You'd hold down your shift. There you go. There it's all the way up. Now it's all the way off. Once you let go of it though, so let's say I'll let go of that shift button. Your song is now at that volume, see? So you need a little more volume. We'll hit the shift and the high gain knob. And you've got to like snap it back to where it was. So I had it on like 2. No, I had it on 3. So I had to snap it back to 3 and then move it back towards the higher end, getting up to 10. The one thing that's going to stay the same when you let go of that shift button is your highs. Your highs are going to stay right there. They should be over here, but they're going to default to wherever the knob is. So that's just something to be aware of. As soon as you let go of shift, adjust your knob back to where you needed it to be. Now we'll do the filter knob. This has 4 different channel effects that you can access to go to these filter knobs. The first one, of course, is going to be the normal filter you'll see on pretty much every controller in the world. You got your low pass if you go to the left. You got your high pass when you go clockwise to the right. Now in the software, I can change that. I can go to a reverb now. Let's play the track again. Now you've got the reverb going on. All right, we're going to switch to noise. And there goes your noise adjustment. Now we've got one more, and I really hate this one. The dub echo on here is just awful. I can't think of a reason I would ever use dub echo. Now let's listen to it. What the hell is that? Oh, good Lord. I think you can see what I'm talking about. Where would that effect ever be useful? They could have given you anything else, but they decided on the dub echo, a bad one at that. Now let's get to the faders. Now the faders, I mean, this is a $120 unit US, as I mentioned earlier, so you can't expect this to have excellent faders. There's a little bit of tension going up, but a lot less than I thought there would be. The knobs that are on them are very tiny. Look, my fingernail, if I put it on top of it, you can't see that button anymore. So it's a really small button, and the crossfader is the same. They're decently tall for the size of this controller off of the surface of it. So your fingernails may not scrape off this paint, but if you're someone who's going to practice a lot of scratching, you'll probably take off these little lines here, which is why I think they didn't put a full graphics here with all the different lines like a lot of controllers have. They'll have, 10 lines on this side, 10 on this side. They might say, a 1 and a 2 on this side, or A or B. None of that's there. You're going to scrape it off if you're scratching anyway. So I think that's why they did it. Now, the crossfader is decent enough. I mean, it's probably a $10 crossfader. Like the up faders, they're probably $5, $10. Of course, they'll probably charge you $80 if you need to order one, and then you got to get someone to solder it in there. But they're cheap faders. You can only expect so much for $120, but it should get you through quite a while of mixing. And if you're only mixing and you're not a heavy scratcher, then these should last you a long enough time for you to build up your confidence and skill set to be able to play out to crowds, and then you can afford to go to the next unit. You can get a Roland 202, you can get a Pioneer Rev 1. You have other things in that sphere. What's the other one I like? The Newmark Mixtrack Platinum. There's another controller that's in the double the price of this. You're looking at the $250, $299 range. Now the crossfader does have an adjustable cut lag, but that has to be done in the software. Let me show you what that looks like. Let me play the track for you. Let's turn that off. Yes, I use my faders backwards. I get comments for that too. Why are your faders backwards? I've always used it in what's called hamster mode. Before it was hamster mode, I started in 85. So you're talking 41 years ago. I knew nothing. I just plugged in my turntables backwards. So I plugged this turntable on this side, this turntable on that side, and then I moved the faders this way. It's just the way I used to do it. I have no reason why. So that's why this song, the fader is this way. Now, generally, this would be over here, and you would be pushing the crossfader towards the song you're going to play or towards the deck that you're playing. That's the normal way to do it. So see, the fader is over here. This turntable would be off. It wouldn't be playing. But as I move it this way, the fader goes towards the side that you are going to play. I do it backwards. I'm a moron. I don't know what to tell you. Let's play this track again. You see, it already comes defaulted as having a slow cut lag. It gets full volume once you get all the way to the other side. And it starts to lower, and it's off. But in the Serato DJ Pro software, you can adjust your cut lag, and let me show you how you do that. All right, we're going to move the world's biggest cursor up to settings. We're going to move this to the mixer setting. And then right there, you see your up faders. You would hold down the trackpad, and you can get a nice fast cut with your up faders or leave it right in the middle the way it comes. You see the crossfader curve right here. If I want a slower one, where it gets gradually louder the more you move it to the other side, or you want a nice tight crossfader cut so you can do scratches, I would put it all the way fast. And you see I have it in reverse mode as it says here. So now let's take a listen. You'll see that as soon as I move the crossfader over just a hair, we'll have full volume of the track. So it's a decent throw. You've got maybe a millimeter or two before you get sound. I don't know what the exact measurement is, but you see, once we get it there, you get it at full blast. You get that nice break sound there. Now that's something else to cover in this controller. When you open this out of the box, when you press that stop or play button, when you go to break the song, there's no it just stops completely. Again, that's something else that you have to adjust in the software. And let me show you where that is. As you can see right there, it says breaking. You've got your start time. That's how the record starts. You can have it start very slow, and then your break time, you can adjust it right there. So I have it right where I want it to go when I hit that button. But when you first get it, it's going to come like this. We'll play the track again. See? Nothing. It sounds like someone pulled your USB cord out of your laptop. If I move the brake all the way, it's going to be very slow to stop. This is at its maximum. Look at how long that takes to stop. Now I'm going to do the same to the start time. That way you'll see, once it's stopped, I can start it back up again, and it's going to start slow like what you just heard till it gets up to speed. Here it goes. Winding up. All right. Okay, it's getting there. All right, we've reached the singularity. We've reached Terminator times. Song is getting there. It'll be there, people. Trust me. You see how long this is taking? It's eventually going to get there. All right. See, and as I do that live, as I move that little section, the braking section in the software, it'll react live in real time. Now, the build quality of this, as I mentioned, it's $120 US. So this thing is made of all the plastic. It's like being in a 1980s or 90s GM car. It's the plastic fantastic. Nothing in here is built to last. even your USB cord that comes with it is attached. So if this wire goes bad, you need a brand new controller. You're actually getting a braided cable. You've got the capacitor on there, which is nice. That was a nice little touch. You got that nice little filter on there. And it comes on the USB-C cable. At the back of the controller, as you can see, all it says is juiced. On this side, it says Hercules. Over here, it says Serato. And you've got your master output, which of course is on RCA. You wouldn't be able to fit an XLR on this thin chassis anyway. But you're lucky it's not a 3.5 millimeter jack that they gave you. At least they gave you RCAs to plug into your speakers or some kind of stereo system. On the front, you have that one 3.5 millimeter headphone jack and a little headphone icon too. And of course, it says Hercules with their 3 little pyramids, emulating Giza, I guess. It's got these weird little notches in the front. You see that line there? It looks like it's bent, but that's a design choice. And then the back has nothing except something that I really like that my OCD enjoys tremendously. And that is that all the screws on here, all 10 of them, they're evenly placed. You got 2 slanted there, 2 slanted there, 3 here off center, kind of like the Giza pyramids. I wonder if they are. I should actually measure the degrees apart that these are. I'm wondering if they'd be the same. You've got these little tiny feet, these little itty bitty rubber feet to keep it from sliding around on your surface. And that's it. That is the Hercules DJcontrol Inpulse MK3. Thank you so much for watching. Do me a favor if you can, hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps the channel out tremendously so I can keep making these kind of videos to put out to our community. And I'd also like to thank the community for all the love and positivity that we've built here. I really love the information we give each other and how we help each other out on this channel. So now that you've learned everything that you can about this, you go out there and get one. And once you get one, you master it and make money.